Before I get into this video, I want to say for the record, I will not apologize for anything I say in this video, especially that directed at Pelosi, because she is one of Satan's minions. So, with that in mind, for those of you that read the news, I would recommend that you go on Real Clear Politics, which does an amalgamation of news, in the name of balance, I would guess. The problem is the left are not balanced, they're an unhinged bunch of lunatics, and their headlines reflect as much. Because ever since smoky old Joe got put into office, their headlines are just cope. So much cope. And for good reason. Primarily because Joe Biden is a complete moron who literally doesn't have a single policy idea beyond I am not that guy. See, the Democrats are in this hilariously precarious position due to the nature of how the structure operates. You've got these delusional nitwits who aren't really in any political danger. They're in solidly blue areas where they can be as off-the-wall batshit crazy with a rather high degree of impunity, and then you have others where it's a total crapshoot, and they can't afford to be the tree-climbing crap-flingers because they'd suffer personally if they budge, and so would their states. So they have a personal interest in telling Joe Biden he's off his rocker. And so you've got this amusing standoff between those who are standing on a trap door and those who want to pull the damn floor out from underneath them in order to further their own political careers. It's a delightful dog-eat-dog kind of scenario. However, and here is the kicker, the longer this goes on, the less chance of them pushing anything through, not only because it makes the Democrats look fractured and ineffective as a party, which ironically is probably the best thing for Joe Biden's presidency. The longer they wait, the more Joe will screw up because everything he touches turns to cancer. The more they're going to become hesitant of pushing anything he favors because his track record is literally 100% failure. Look at him now, he's already tanking the damn party. Here's how it is right now with the Democrats. They're essentially fat little bastards, greedily whinging they haven't been fed enough, even though a sizable chunk of those old codgers have been in that twisted machine for so long they likely lost their virginity before LBJ said I'll have blacks voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema are basically the parents, scolding the children and telling them, no, it's for your own good. But again, they're only doing it to save their own necks, and for all their personal skin in the game, they know Joe Biden's policy is going to bollock up the place royally. And considering the size of the BS they want to pass, it's rather obvious they want to avoid it like the plague. But anyway, cracking on. In politics, success tends to beget success. Heaviest emphasis ever needed on that tends to there, because when Joe Biden was put into office, he immediately went Dee from Dexter's Lab going, ooh, what does this button do? With any piece of legislation with Trump's name on it, because he's a psychotically destructive imbecile with an agingly badly ego. That truism apparently eluded left-wing Democrats on September the 30th when they refused to vote for President Biden's $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. Okay, I want to know, because this is cloud 9 level of delusion. The man has hemorrhaged approval rating faster than Pelosi spends money on virgin blood and vodka to keep herself from falling over. Well, that and the accumulative arrogance oozing from her face resulting in her needing a facelift more often than Joe Biden needs a damn teleprompter. And this bill-pushing crap is not fresh off the heels of any political victory. So what the hell is the success these people are referring to exactly? Because COVID mandates, the moratorium debacle, Afghanistan, the pathetic jobs reports, sky-high unemployment, surging petrol prices, no, I am not saying gas Americans, bollocks to you, inflation pissing off the parents with CRT, name me a single damn thing that Biden has done that remotely constitutes success. There's a reason people think the left are completely insane and out to lunch. Instead of basking in accolades for having passed a second landmark achievement to go with Biden's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, Democrats are treating the public to an extended exhibition of their inability to forge the internal consensus necessary to govern. Again, you people doing absolutely bugger all would literally be your best move going forward, because you are psychotic tyrants with an agenda that is completely antithetical to everyone who isn't bent over dripping wet and asking for it like a socialist lady of the evening. Far as the American Rescue Plan goes, anytime you see a bill with that kind of a name, you can bet your bollocks to a barn dance what's in it is nefarious. Do not buy that headline, that is a crappy sales pitch. Even as clogged U.S. ports and long delays in delivering goods of all kinds underscore the urgent need for upgrading the nation's economic infrastructure. Funny, I seem to recall you had a roaring economy under Trump, and you didn't need to ram your fist up someone's arsehole and reduce them to tears to pay for it either. The Congressional Progressive Caucus vows to persist in blocking the bill if they don't get their way on a follow-on reconciliation bill that would spend trillions more on new social entitlements and climate protection. See, like I told you, those leftists think they have some weight to throw around now, and they're going to try and bully their fellow Democrats. They're pulling that PR crap trying to brand themselves as Robin Hood, when in reality, they remind me of Soundgarden's song The Day I Tried to Live. For in that song is a lyric, I stole 1,000 beggars' change and gave it to the rich. You can see why I'd relate that to these two-faced hypocrites. And the less said about the climate thing, the better, as if any government is going to solve that issue. Nothing quite says we will solve the world's problems by bleeding you dry of every cent you make. The notion that humans can reverse the Earth's natural cycle is the most arrogant thing any human can aspire to. You want to test how much bullshit these idiots can spew? Try telling them that you want to leave the climate problems to the free market and watch them sweat like they were just caught wanking in a sauna. But there is now apparent mistrust among the Democrats because of a promise broken by Pelosi. What a surprise, a politician who lies. Shocker. I seem to recall she said she won't bring forward something that won't pass, so heaven only knows what that old witch has up her sleeves aside from mothballs and cheap gin. And from the looks of it, as I said before, the amusing cavalcade of cock-ups have many lefty people in nervously close races, like Terry McAuliffe is neck and neck for a second term. By the way, he is pro-vax, so kick his ass the hell out of there. And then this point about nation building. The Democrats don't want nation building in my opinion, and neither do the progressives. They're both full of BS. This line, redistributing wealth takes precedence over strengthening the economy. That is just a cluster of complete stupid. This makes the progressive come off like feudal lords. I don't know how the hell you call yourself progressives, but your rhetoric resembles regressing to that of a pre-capitalistic society. Well done, you broken turnips. Not to mention, if you had a better economy, then there is more wealth to spread around. But then again, if you had a better economy, then there would be no need for those policies. People would just tell the progressives to bog off and stop taking my damn money. And that is utterly incomprehensible to progressives. They don't want independent people, they want government-dependent pawns. They're not going to tax the rich either. The rich will just hide their money or move to places where the taxes are lower. Not that the progressives will ever understand that because they don't know the first damn thing about economics. Forrest, can they run on this? Well, what the hell else are they going to run on? They don't exactly have a good track record to run on. Their entire party, owning all the reins of power, have completely brought the country to its knees in less than 12 months. There is literally not a single redeeming quality to the Democrats right now, so smoke them if you got them. And let's see these useless twerps crash and burn in the hellfire of stupid they threw themselves into. And the funny thing is, the White House wants to bully Manchin and Sinema because they want to pass the bigger bill. The progressives will tank the whole bill if they don't get everything they want because they are greedy bastards. And the White House will take the progressive lot over the two senators because it's a numbers game. That, and like it says here, it was never likely that Democrats would pass changes on a New Deal scale with razor-thin majorities in the House and the Senate. Nonetheless, it's hard not to sympathize with President Biden's desire to go big in helping Americans hit hard by the long COVID-19 pandemic and recession that he caused. That's a tribute to his empathy. And fortunately for him and the country, it's a goal he can still achieve. Okay, I have a theory. Whatever drug this author took before writing this dribble, this is where it kicks in. Because Biden having empathy, he's destroyed the entire country and now wants to pass $3.5 trillion when the country is on the brink of recession, all for problems that literally never existed until he got his dim-witted mitts on the executive branch. The hell do you see empathy? That's either a colossal level of negligence or smoldering craters of stupidity, and with this moron, it's very likely both. And given the Democrats wetting themselves and the infighting and Biden's approval tanking on a damn hourly basis, I don't think the country is exactly on your side here, pal. A blueprint at the Progressive Policy Institute, where I serve as president, wonder what it's like having a job where you get to trip balls every damn day, sets 3 core progressive priorities: supporting working families and children, combating climate change, and expanding access to affordable healthcare for those in need. It would cost roughly $2 trillion and could plausibly be paid for by raising taxes on the wealthy and strengthening federal tax compliance. Okay, this point right here is a perfect example of how the progressives do not live in the real world. At all. I know I'm preaching to the choir here with that statement, but here's the thing. See, the progressives have no concept of being dynamic. In their deluded, short-sighted minds, their ideas are ironclad, completely static. The very concept of ill-gotten consequences does not exist to them, which makes them extremely stupid because if you're not planning for something that goes wrong, your plans are simply going to tank in the very first sign of trouble. And considering how stupid their worldview is to begin with, this mentality is a guaranteed walking catastrophe. Supporting working families, here is a radical idea. Take less of their worked-for money, you greedy pricks. The climate argument is nothing but a tax hike, let's not kid ourselves, and the government making something more affordable. To quote Thomas Sowell, the idea of what we can't afford in healthcare costs pay directly, we can somehow make more affordable by paying for a government bureaucracy on top of existing medical costs. And raising taxes, just shut up. But for whatever reason I will never understand, these idiots still seem to think they will regain political momentum if they pass these draconian, generation-crippling spending bills. I don't know how that is a win for the Democratic voter. They will simply be squeezed till the blood drips from their ears. And that's all for today. Until next time.